Okay, the oligarchy has learned to control the mass of people using the media to create oppositional propaganda. For example, there's no actual right or left in the United States. In truth, it is the oligarchy versus the people. I'm going to read this report to you and describe how this works. Please listen carefully. How opposed narratives in the media are deliberately designed to divide us. The introduction. The role of media in shaping public opinion has been crucial throughout history. However, in recent years, it has become evident that certain media outlets and platforms push polarized narratives that deepen societal divides. The deliberate crafting of opposing narratives and perspectives not only misinforms, but also creates a fractured public discourse. These divisions are often fueled by sensationalism, selective reporting, and confirmation bias, with the ultimate aim of driving engagement and maintaining power structures. Now, the role of media in dividing society. Media corporations, often influenced by political or economic interests, design narratives that appeal to specific audiences, intensifying divisions. By selectively focusing on particular issues or presenting them in a biased manner, media outlets can craft stories that elicit emotional responses. These emotionally charged narratives are designed to mobilize specific groups while alienating others, further deepening ideological divides. The role of sensationalism and clickbait. One of the primary tools for dividing audiences is the use of sensationalism. Media outlets, especially in the digital age, rely heavily on engagement metrics such as clicks, likes, and shares. Sensational headlines and exaggerated stories provoke stronger emotional reactions, making people more likely to engage with the content. This leads to the amplification of extreme positions, pushing people towards polarized viewpoints. For example, the coverage of immigration issues is often polarized. Left-leaning media outlets may focus on the humanitarian aspect, portraying immigrants as victims fleeing persecution, while right-leaning outlets often frame the issue in terms of security, crime, and economic threat. The contrast in coverage creates starkly different realities for each audience. Second, echo chambers and confirmation bias. The rise of social media has enabled the creation of echo chambers, where users are exposed primarily to opinions that reinforce their existing beliefs. Media algorithms promote content similar to what users have engaged with in the past, reinforcing biases and solidifying ideological divides. For example, during the 2020 U.S. presidential election, the narratives around mail-in voting were sharply divided. Conservative media often painted mail-in voting as vulnerable to fraud, while liberal outlets framed it as a necessary measure for public safety during the pandemic. This division led to widespread distrust in the electoral process among opposing groups. Selective reporting and framing. Media outlets often engage in selective reporting, choosing which stories to cover and how to present them. By emphasizing certain facts while omitting others, media organizations can manipulate how audiences perceive events, pushing them to adopt specific viewpoints. For example, reporting on police brutality and racial justice protests in 2020 is a stark example. Some outlets focused on peaceful protests and the need for systemic change, while others highlighted instances of looting and violence, portraying the movement as chaotic. This selective framing divided the public, with each side accusing the other of ignoring critical aspects of the issue. The impact on public discourse. The deliberate design of opposing narratives fosters distrust and hostility between different segments of society. As people consume media that reinforces their worldview, they become less tolerant of opposing opinions. This makes constructive dialogue nearly impossible, as each side sees the other as misguided or even malicious. Political polarization. The media's role in amplifying divisions has a direct impact on political polarization. By presenting issues in black and white terms, media outlets push the idea that there are only two sides to any issue, creating a with us or against us mentality. This leaves little room for nuanced discussion or compromise. For example, the debates surrounding healthcare reform in the United States have been deeply polarized. Liberal media emphasize the moral obligation of providing universal health care, while conservative media often frame the discussion around personal responsibility and the dangers of government overreach. The lack of a middle ground in media discourse has made it difficult for lawmakers to find common solutions. Erosion of trust in institutions. Another consequence of divisive media narratives is the erosion of trust in institutions. As media outlets present conflicting information, it becomes difficult for the public to discern what is true. This leads to a growing skepticism of both media and other key institutions, including government, science, and the judicial system. For example, the coverage of COVID-19 was heavily polarized, with some media outlets promoting the importance of scientific guidance and public health measures, while others questioned the severity of the pandemic and the efficacy of vaccines. This conflicting information caused confusion and mistrust, further dividing the public. Conclusion. Opposing narratives in the media are often deliberately designed to divide society. By using sensationalism, echo chambers, and selective reporting, media outlets manipulate public opinion and deepen existing divisions. This strategy not only drives engagement and profits, but also reinforces political and ideological polarizations, eroding trust in institutions and undermining the potential for constructive dialogue. Addressing this issue requires a more critical approach to media consumption and the promotion of balanced, fact-based reporting.